spelled over. No G's allowed. It's a coin. It's a token you can buy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Boogie2988 videos for me are kind of like a shooting star. Every time it passes, you make a little wish. Something funny always happens. But in this situation, I don't think it's entirely super duper top kick meme-tacular funny. I think it's actually downright scary that influencers do it. Now, usually when influencers are on the way out, you have two choices, Western man. You can either learn to leave gracefully from the internet and, probably start like an enterprise or a company and move on there, right?
No,
like maybe
that's not it.
move on and leave the YouTube world for some newer blood to pop in. Or you can launch a coin, okay? Either or. Now, obviously, throughout my time on YouTube, I've covered numerous coin scams with various other influencers, CoffeeZilla being primarily the top one. And I remember he was calling me, like, literally yesterday about this situation, okay? And we were kind of laughing at it together because it really was an entire story that dropped as I was on the plane, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, for anybody that's not, like, catching on, this is fattyuniversity.com, okay? And again, it starts off with one big-ass MPEG.
Oh, did you pay for this, by the way, Budar? No way you paid for this. So it's kind of like Andrew Tate's thing, but reworked for fat people.
fattyuniversity.com, okay? And again, it starts off with one big-ass MPEG of this, Boogie2988 video called Fatty, all right? So we're going to watch it real quick and get an idea of what this is about. Now, obviously, the video is unlisted. I wonder why it's unlisted. I wonder why somebody's not proud of Fatty being on there. It looked like it did pretty well, 40K views in 2 days. That's actually pretty impressive.
Listen up, all you top G's. There's some misinformation being spread around right now by certain influencers. But I'm here to tell you the truth. His girlfriend, or is that what you call to help you break free from the matrix so you can be a brokey like me.
It's so funny. People like watched this guy like 10 years ago and they were like, what a wholesome, like, chungus, like Mr. Rogers of the internet. And now he's doing this Andrew Cake bit, you know what I mean? Like, get it? Because he's a fat guy, so Andrew Cake versus Andrew Tate, like, haha, funny. On a surface level, I'll tell you right now, this is probably the funniest thing that I've ever probably seen Boogie do. But here's the thing, if you're going to be funny, like, haha, ironic funny, you probably also shouldn't be launching a coin alongside this whole entire venture, right? If you're going to make a joke. But don't actually, like the whole entire joke here, for anybody that doesn't know, is like Andrew Tate, like a while back, he starts tweeting about things like cryptocurrency and whatnot. And obviously, cryptocurrency is wild, right? Like when any influencer talks about it. But you can criticize, you can make a parody video. The reality is, like, if you're also participating in launching another coin, right, which could ultimately harm, if you're also, but obviously, cryptocurrency is he starts tweeting about things like cryptocurrency and whatnot.
The BBCB breaking news. What a wild thing to name your news corporation that also is Big Black Cock. It seems it's not even. I don't even think they meant it. I don't know. Is preparing a hit piece on Money Daddy Coin. Daddy Coin, I guess. I don't know. Add that I'm retarded and to watch them lose their minds when we hit 1 billion. Just like they lost their minds when they couldn't cancel me.
And obviously, cryptocurrency is wild, right? Like when any influencer talks about it. But you can criticize, you can make a parody video. The reality is, like, if you're also participating in launching another coin, right, which could ultimately harm your audience, then is it really a parody? Is it really a joke? Or are you actually unironically taking advantage of your fan base? That's something that, is a question we have to ask ourselves.
100%.
You may know
if you're making a coin, just ironically, whatever, like people
to keep you in the rat race and enslaved to certain disciplines. But I'm here to dispel those myths for you. Number one, everyone thinks you have to have a perfect body.
So white, man. I at least do the backlight composition. You got to give me some sort of credit. Like, this guy's sitting directly in front of a window. He put his webcam up, and there's a huge window right in front of him. That's what he done.
It was funny, but it's kind of like watching an ISIS video or something. It's just, there's no fun to it, actually. It's, a lot of the jokes don't really hit as hard as you think they would. It's probably the best written thing that Boogie's done in a while. But I mean, it's still a car crash, right? Like shit. Now, of course, Boogie runs this token, right? Which is Fatty token. Now, obviously, I'm going to show you a price chart for Fatty right here. This is Fatty on the Solana blockchain. Now, obviously, it does really well, when it launches. And like all of these meme, coins, it basically craters like effectively over 90%, right, of its value. So he starts off over here, it goes, woo, falls right to the ground, okay, boom, done, it's all over with. Now, obviously, maybe at some point it might come back. That's the expectation, right? Like, maybe down the road, okay, this might fly back up. Now, Boogie does this podcast called Lolcat Live, and on this podcast...
yes, ma'am. Do you guys accept Fatty coin? No? Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna go kill myself. Yeah. Thanks.
He actually brought one
that's how that's gonna work.
On,
if you ever do that,
started talking about how this it's like, remember back in the day when Amazon crashed to nothing? And like all these like stocks crashed to nothing, but they all came back. It's long-term thinking.
There's no
but you can't a dump.
There's no safeguarding the pump and dump. I mean, like Bitcoin. I mean, this is the space. I mean, if you look at like Amazon stock in the 90s, it lost 98% of its value. And altcats.com, most of them did, and a few of them, the Amazons, the eBays, like they held through. When most of the other companies were just quitting.
So you're saying
that's what this space is.
This is an Amazon-like project?
They have like a physical thing that you can
no,
buy from that company. Do you understand that?
I'm talking about the longevity of the project and Boogie's content online. Like,
you know what that means?
Boogie's going to do content until he dies, and this token can hang out with him and provide value.
That's
now I think it's
not true.
Fucking insanity, okay, to imagine that your Fatty University token is on the same level as one of the largest logistics tech companies in the world,
guy
right?
Trolling.
Yeah. Amazon once cratered. Yeah, Amazon also does a whole lot more than talk about Fatty University lifestyles, all right? But hey, what do I know? Now, obviously what Boogie does isn't entirely new. We've covered like actual influencers in the crypto space in like the last, I want to say, few years, right? Like obviously me and CoffeeZilla talked about, that Save the Kids token stuff. And of course, down the road, we started looking at things like the casinos. I remember when like this was happening literally like a couple days ago, like yesterday, we were actually on call, like laughing about the situation. It was actually mind blowing. He had actually launched a video on a second channel, Voidzilla, if you haven't checked it out, where he actually confronts Boogie on the situation because Boogie reaches out to Steven to discuss, hey, is this crypto project okay? Now, Boogie's been around the space. Boogie's talked about cryptocurrency before. In fact, if you actually look into Boogie's history, he had an entire video where he was like, I'm at my rock bottom, right? Like he was actually begging on his YouTube channel, right? Like, because at that point, money was gone.
Yeah,
Setting out back
I watched
on
one
this
of his
beautiful
streams, actually.
Fall day. Is it fall officially? I think it is.
I think I watched
in my backyard with my puppies. And I want to have a conversation with you. Well, this is a video I've dreaded making. But it's time. So I'm asking for your help as we head into the holiday season. Not happy about it, but here we are. And I'm not making any excuses here. I spent a tremendous amount of money on dumb things. But the biggest issue is that I had a nice big nest egg. I took some financial advice from a friend, and I'm not pointing fingers necessarily. I took the advice, but I put my money in the crypto market in the wrong section, and I pretty much lost most of everything.
He had basically talked about being crypto rich, and of course, because he never capitalized on his, gains or like his unrealized gains, he basically lost money, I guess, at the end of the day, right? It was like a situation where, bro, you're in a very speculative market, okay? At one point, you kind of flex to your fan base, and then you lose all your money and you're basically begging for it. So the sting of losing money on cryptocurrency, yet you're pushing it onto the audience. Now, obviously, he's not the only influencer to do this. And honestly, if Boogie's bit was just talking about being Andrew Cake, even though it's like 2 years after Andrew Tate's been relevant enough, it's funny. But obviously, when you add the whole coin factor to it, like, come on, Doc. You're part of the problem at that point. Jesus Christ. Now, other influencers like Jason Derulo, for instance, right? Like, if you look at Jason Derulo's actual YouTube channel right here, you can see that literally he is, talking about Dollar Jason, like an actual Jason token.
Yeah, wasn't that
what is the utility of the Jason token? About as much utility as the shit I took an hour ago, okay? That's pretty much the utility right there. So, people have looked obviously into this one influencer, right? So obviously when you go to like Jason Derulo's Twitter feed, he's got like his pinned, comment over here. He's got, happy to announce we've officially partnered with Vortex Global for our market making Dollar Jason to the moon. Now, obviously, there have been some severe allegations of, mismanagement, right? Like, influencer launches cryptocurrency token, craters to the ground, and then what do they talk about? Here he says, damn, Sahil got me. Now, if you don't remember Sahil Arora, you might remember a while back we were talking about, Caitlyn Jenner and her stupid, token. Yeah, apparently this one Indian, guy is behind all these crazy scammers for these celebrities. It's insane. No. That's okay. That's fine. That's motivation to take this all the way. I just bought $20K worth. In this for my fans for the long haul. Going to do everything in my power to send this shit to the moon.
Oh, shit. Because if you put $20K in right off the bat, then people also put in, if you put in $20K and then someone else puts in $20K or a bunch of other people put in $20K, you could effectively control that market over the long term to trend down if you wanted to, right? Not only up, but you could control it to trend down if you wanted to, if you put that much money in the stock market or in whatever fucking shit coin.
All going to do everything in my power to send this shit to the moon. Yeah, I love how it's like, trust me, boys, I'm doing this for the fans. Why do you even bring them into this in the first place? Like, people know how dangerous speculative coin investments are, yet they still present the audience, okay? This is more of a situation as like, look, I want you to think of this whole ecosystem like there's a pool of sharks, right? Like an actual pool of sharks. Like, imagine in that fucking pool right there, okay, right there, there was like a whole bunch of crypto sharks. And like your audience is effectively blood. You're throwing the audience into the water for these guys to basically ravage them for pennies. They give you a little bit of an advertising, boon, like they'll give you like a few $1,000s. Your audience basically is rented out, pimped out effectively to them, right? And then all that happens is, these sharks get into the water, your audience puts money in, that money is then leached out, from liquidity, down like the course of a couple weeks, if even that, it's really fast. And boom, your audience has basically been part of losing their money. A bunch of these people have paid you thousands of dollars.
If you listen, I'm not giving you fuckers advice on how to scam your audience better, but if you wanted to, you could make a coin or something and then put like thousands of dollars in, right? And then once like 300, 400 people get in and they put their money in, then you put in like another $10,000, or you get one of your friends to put in $10,000 or whatever, right? You get it up a little bit more, right? Now, after this, if only 300 people had got in, those 300 people are going to go out and say, hey, whoa, I've made so much money. And they're going to bring more people in to fill that gap and bring it up a little bit more, right? Now, if it ever runs out of people who are doing that, you take out your money little by little to trickle it down, and you'll just kind of ease out, right?
Which all they have to do is break even, and then after that, everything they make off of your audience is pure profit. It is a tale as old as the last few years with crypto. So one of the organizations in this group, a channel analysis firm known as Bubble Maps, actually looked into it. Jason Derulo has sold Jason, allegedly.
But if you want to do it
during his claims, we doubt he got fooled by Sahil. Let's look at the on-chain evidence. I mean, let's look at it. Remember, everything about the cryptocurrency is, what is that saying? Men lie, women lie. That blockchain don't fucking lie, that's for sure. Jason Derulo said on a space that Sahil contacted him to promote a gambling website. He admitted failing to conduct proper due diligence, leading to unknowingly sharing a token contract where he actually, posts this, let me take you dancing at pump.fun. Remember that name, audience? And then he lists the whole token contract right there. Wow, shit. Before Jason Derulo's first tweet, they had spotted huge clusters in their bubble map. So the 1% holder had 11%, red cluster was 18%, and of course the yellow cluster here being 20%. So what they said was all of those addresses follow the same pattern, which is basically refunded from CEX 3 days ago, and they were bought on Pump.Fun. So the wallets, right, in this situation that were alleged to be associated with the Sahil individual held 50% of that supply and dumped almost everything right after the first tweet that Jason Derulo had put out.
Yeah,
so according to them, the total realized profit here is $180,000 US. Insane amounts of cash. So again, Jason Derulo in a Twitter space was like saying he was tricked by that Sahil character, right? Oh my God.
Hi, we're Visible, the wireless company that makes things visible.
Wow, I got tricked. Oh shit. Now, here's the thing about being tricked, okay? I would have a little more sympathy for the influencer if they had a bit more skin in the game. But if you're being paid money, right? Like if you're being paid like an influencer fee, already you're doing well. You got paid to advertise something. Your audience, they jumped on something because they believed in you. They're not getting paid a bag. Now, to whittle it on back to the old, Boogie stuff, if we look at the actual chart here, you can see that Boogie launched the Fatty token with the team or whatever. Alongside it, thing goes skyrocketing, craters to the ground, okay? 90% losses. So, the moment you expose this to your audience, there's a group of individuals who obviously have had this token or know about this token. The money gets in, the sharks jump in, your audience jumps in, your audience are the losers. The sharks take the money and effectively run off with it and make their cash, and that's pretty much how things tend to go.
This is what I've noticed about this audio so far. I shouldn't be talking about audio, but it sounds like there's a cat who's playing with this part of the microphone and like clawing it, like a little baby cat maybe. Maybe it's a little baby cat, right? He's playing with the microphone and stuff. Well, that's what it sounds like in my fucking head.
Worth looking into Pump.Fun, which is actually the website and protocol that is being used to help facilitate a lot of these brand new meme coins on the Solana blockchain. Now, this might remind some people watching of like a 4chan layout with the bump orders and generally how things are laid out. Now, I'm obviously censoring what's showing up because I have no idea if this is necessarily safe for work. But see, every second, by that yellow little ping, that is a new coin that is effectively being launched. Now, the way that this works is, according to Pump.Fun, you pick a coin that you like, you buy the coin on the bonding curve, you then sell at any time to lock in your profits or losses, and when enough people buy on the curve, it reaches a market cap of $69,000, which at that point, $12,000 of liquidity is then deposited in radium and then burned. So apparently there are some protections that I guess this offers, but generally these are meme coins, meaning that, they literally are not designed to have, any form of utility. Like, don't be thinking of this like Ethereum. This is literally designed for, people who want to 10,000x some weird investment. So obviously the moment these things go live, they price spike, and especially when you get like an influencer involved, then you'll start to notice things die as soon as the influencers start to make their initial postings. And the reasoning for a lot of this is when people look into it, there is an understanding generally by people who investigate this that there are individuals who have early knowledge of when these influencers are going to, start dropping their stuff, when their fans will start getting in. So before then, they'll either have tokens sent to them or they might buy them for an exorbitantly cheap cost. And as soon as the influencers jump in and start, promoting this product and their fans start, intermingling with these sharks in this pool, then those sharks basically leech out whatever money that they can, and it's really the fans who are holding the bag. When you have volume, when you have actual market volume like this, there is absolutely somebody losing money. And oftentimes it's not the crypto investor behind any of this. It takes minutes to create an account wallet, just a wallet in general for crypto, and then purchasing through various exchanges is not the most difficult thing in the world, no matter how much Boogie likes to, claim it is. Now, to give you guys an idea of the kind of scumbags you're playing with, obviously on a website like this, there's people that operate with like literal bots, right? Like nobody is manually trading if they want to actually like make money. Usually you've got people that are known as snipers that have bots that effectively purchase and like sell these coins on a day-to-day basis. So when your audience jumps into these sharks, right? These sharks are playing with literal fucking GitHub tools while the audience is playing with their MacBooks, like, just moving their fingers around really slowly, purchasing shit. Dog, you are screwed the moment you jump into this wild pond. So Boogie2988, Steven here, is going through some serious medical problems. For anybody that doesn't know what Steven's going through, he's actually got some form of blood cancer, okay? Now, this is a pretty rare form of blood cancer known as polycythemia vera. Yeah. Now, according to my Cleveland clinic, all right, they said PV is a blood disorder that causes your body to produce too many red blood cells. Too many red blood cells can make your blood thick and sluggish. Now, it says right here that it progresses very slowly and often isn't diagnosed until the age of 60. Most people manage symptoms well for many years. The biggest risk from too many red blood cells is blood clots.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it might be, a form of blood cancer. And I'm not going to sit here and, deny a man's, medical history. I don't know. I don't go to their doctor appointments. But I'm going to ask a question, okay? If you are going through medical problems, is it okay to necessarily jump down the throat and, possibly just scam your audience?
Yes.
I think the answer is still a fat no to it. And there's really no sympathy from it. Now, I called Boogie out on this.
But
and
why
Boogie,
not? You have to treat them. You have to treat them like they're your friends and stuff, right?
Of his life, basically victimizing himself for no real reason, effectively said, I don't care if he lives or dies. Now, look, I'm just going to say it. I hope everyone the best, okay? I'm just indifferent when it comes to this individual, especially when he's been promoting these tokens onto his audience.
But actually giving back the $5K you're going to be making back to the community, locking it, making sure that people aren't going to get hurt further?
No, I'm going to pay my medical bills next month with that last half, and I'm sorry to anybody that's disappointed with that. I have an $1,100 medication plus a $300 medication. I get a bunch of I want to buy medicine with it, man. And if people are disappointed with that, I fully understand that. It's a shitty thing to do, and I'm a shitty person for doing it. You can have that opinion, and I'm okay with it.
So obviously it's hard to feel bad for somebody, even with their medical concerns, that the only time they ever really remember that they have this rare form of blood cancer is when they're pressed up against a wall about the actual crappy actions that they've done. Yeah, I don't really feel so bad. Imagine if you are scamming somebody that is also going through a serious medical concern. And your fans might think, okay, maybe this might go to the moon. Obviously, I think there's even a weird double issue with believing Boogie about finances. But point is, imagine if somebody put their money in, lost it, they're also going through medical issues, and this guy doesn't care. He's just paying his own medical bills, and he'll do whatever it can to do it. He could have streamed. He could have earned money on Super Chats. He could have gotten a sponsor or two. Even if they weren't the most highest paying, I think actually doing real work would have been more respectful to your fan base than just basically exposing them to a bunch of sharks. And for how much did he actually go into it? How much, did he gain really? He'll tell you exactly how much he earned, how much he was cut a check for.
I was given $5,000 up front with a promise of $5,000 on the back end after a week of coming on the Telegram, doing some live streams, doing some tweets about it, and all along the ways talking about how it's a shit coin that'll make you go broke.
Oh my you know why they tell you to do it for a week, right? That's how much time they need to get out of the coin. They're going to slowly drain the coin as people buy in. They're going to use whatever's worth of your name to dump on your fans. You know that.
Well, if you're telling me that, I believe you.
So obviously through the course of the next 24 hours in this entire story, he basically says, we just burned 50 million fatty tokens. If you're holding, going broke just got harder. At Fatty2988.
Hey, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Good. See, that's somebody that gets the fatty lifestyle. Do nothing and you'll be nothing. And that's the way you want to be. I see that a lot of you bought my coin because you want to be a broke, fat fuck like me. Well, guess what? I'm going to give you your first challenge. If you're holding my coin, your coin's value just went up. Sad. I had my team burn 50 million tokens. That way you have to work even harder to be a broke, fat like me. A lot of people.
So, I don't understand that, okay? So, at the first glance, he's like, bro, I'm just making a meme token. You're not supposed to buy it. You're going to lose money. Next day, I also did something that's going to give you guys more value. Wait. Hold on a minute. I don't understand. Are you being ironic, or are you actually trying to make people money here? What the fuck? Now, I don't know if this necessarily passes what is known as the Howey test. So the reason why we're looking into the Howey test here real quick is obviously for a lot of these influencers that get caught promoting this kind of stuff, there is a scary aspect of it possibly being them promoting a security. Now, obviously, Boogie, in his entire coverage, even in the Fatty University, did one actual carnal mistake. He never really outright said that he was being paid to promote something. Now, if you know anything about YouTubers when they promote a product, they'll let you know when you're promoting a product, okay? Like, this video was sponsored by, you know, fucking so-and-so, if it was sponsored. If you talk about Fatty Token, paid $5 grand to talk about Fatty Token, he should have told you that he got paid up front to talk about Fatty Token. It shouldn't have been something that was discussed to, like, other YouTubers or kept under wraps until eventually it got leaked out. That is actually deceptive. So when talking about that video we just saw, something about the Howey test that I wanted to bring into this situation was obviously looking at the 4 key factors. Now, I'm not an SEC compliance officer, nor do I work in the United States Department of Justice, okay? I'm a fat Indian guy sitting by a pool talking about this Boogie situation, all right? There's a key difference in professionality there. But here it talks about money being invested, okay? So there must be a monetary investment involved in the transaction. So clearly your audience is buying into a token, whether it be for a meme, whether it be they're buying it to see it speculate. Look, at the end of the day, the meme token culture, like we saw with Pump.Fun, is built around people effectively putting money into an entire coin to see it grow. That is effectively an investment. That either it's whatever you call it, gambling, investment, or anything of that nature, there is an understanding that you're putting money in to these services. Then you've got an expectation of profits. And obviously, if your expectation is this money is going to go up, what he said over here is a little confusing because if your whole idea is you're going to be a brokey, but also I did something to raise you money, like that is a conflicting statement. That it might lead to somebody thinking that there is a way that they can profit, because if the team
isn't this illegal?
Behind the coin is doing shit to help you make money, that's something you have to really like factor into your head. And obviously there is a common enterprise, but more importantly, success relies on the efforts of others, right? So the success of the investment depends predominantly on the efforts of individuals rather than the investor. So again, if what had happened over here was the individuals or Boogie and his team are doing something, that could inadvertently turn this potentially into a security. Because even if they call it a utility token, the fact that they're basically selling this as like Patreon, but you know, for a meme token, is such bullshit copium that literally talking about that is a whole fucking separate video series in of itself. Okay, it's like copium to the moon. It's like copium Star Trek: The Next Dimension type shit. Now, obviously, since, you know, this whole situation and the crash of this token within literally a day or two, there have been a fair amount of individuals who have accused this of possibly being a rug pull. And a rug pull is a situation where, like I described, when it comes to this platform, what basically occurs is, you know, a whole bunch of individuals know that this token is coming, right? They throw their money in. They're ready to purchase this token. Boogie makes a tweet announcing this to the fan base. There's a massive drop-off after that announcement. You know, the fans get in, the investors, they get out, and this whole story begins anew. You know, influencers who are basically on their way out are effectively pimping out their audiences for the last few, you know, pennies that they can effectively scrounge out of the audience. And I think it's really insulting, right? Like, look, at the end of the day, let's just call it like what it is. Everyone falls off. I fall off, you fall off. It happens. You know, nobody is the Simpsons on the internet. Nobody really lasts forever. So, you know, when we're on our peaks, it's great. When we're on our way out, we should be leaving gracefully, okay? And the thing is, Boogie has had so much of an ample life, like basically having the ability to live comfortably, buy video games, you know, participate in like, you know, hooker pleasures all over. We've seen the documentaries, okay? It's wild shit. So when you live life like that, you got to have money set aside to maybe start another venture. Boogie obviously didn't. And like the influencers in his situation, he has now resorted to basically selling out his audience for the tiniest fraction of cash at this point. And, you know, it really shows a severe lack of respect for the audience you've basically built over like 15 years. You know, at the end of the day, influencers and the relationship you build with your audience, it's parasocial no matter what. But part of that relationship should be built on some semblance of trust, okay? You shouldn't be sitting over here trying to butt fuck your audience for like 7,000, 8,000 after tax.
That's crazy.
Okay, especially with that money, like Boogie said, it's going towards medical bills. Look, I get it, all right? Medical bills suck. A lot of your bills could be alleviated if you simply decided to walk every once in a while, okay? Boogie claims that he has a lot of free time, and if you have a lot of free time, there is so many better ways that you can spend by actually getting a sponsor or making more consistent YouTube content, not making one video every fortnight, for crying out loud, okay? You could consistently stream more. You know, you should never get into a situation where you think, you know, these shady guys are giving me thousands upon thousands of dollars. You should really ask yourself why they're doing that, okay? Because it's not for them making some bullshit community. This is literally a situation where you've exposed your audience to, again, blood-infested waters. And what are they doing? They're part of the situation, they lose money, and ultimately it's on you, the influencer, that exposes them in the first place. And obviously I think there's a bit of responsibility. If you were a fucking jackass that bought the fatty token thinking you were gonna get rich, well, you might need to be medically assessed because goddamn, you are a fucking functioning idiot. But ultimately, it is still the influencer that exposed you. And that is one of those things where Boogie is, in my opinion, quite guilty of. And no matter what he says, I think it's just a very much a new low that he's not the only one guilty for. It clearly is a whole bunch of other late stage exit out of the way influencers. But yeah, anyways, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, clearly the National Geographic channel out there is having a fucking field day at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, what's that?
I'm gonna go to bed.
Who?
All right.
What's that kitten that's on the mic?
Boogie.
What's the little kitten that's on the mic?
Exposing your audience to these stupid tokens. You know it's dog shit. I know it's dog shit. You know, unborn fetuses know it's dog shit. Everyone knows it's dog shit. And finally, they shut the fuck up when the video's over. That is such a crazy.
Because you probably thought you were yelling at him. Good. Good. Hopefully, CoffeeZilla has already made a video about that. Okay. Maybe he's coming out with one. But yeah, I heard about that thing, or maybe I seen it somewhere. I think Charlie made a video about it or something. Yeah, maybe. I wonder when the day is gonna be when people see stuff, right, and they use cognitive, critical thinking, distributive thoughts, and they say to themselves, they say, you know what, maybe this is a scam, right? They think maybe this doesn't, maybe I don't make money somehow, right? But they're just like, no, I'm all in. I'm giving them all my money. We're gonna, yeah, I don't know. So yeah, not see you. I'm streaming, but I was doing a video. I got too caught up and I was doing a video, you know.